How to fix a broken relationship? I've brought in the relationship mechanic. You're going to want to see this. Okay, relationships are one of my favorite things to talk about, and especially when I have a friend on board who's an expert in relationships. I've introduced him to you in other videos as the author of this brilliant little book that is titled, You Can Be Right or You Can Be Married. And I think that's brilliant. Okay, good. Brett, this is Brett Williams, folks. His contact information is down in the description. So if you want to connect to him, that's where you're going to find it. The reason Brett's here today is because I got a question for you.
Okay.
Okay, you ready for this?
I'm ready.
Brett, how do you fix a broken relationship?
That is an awesome question. It's a little complicated though. It's a little complicated because we got to figure out what's broken. And that's the number one thing to fixing anything. If you have a broken car, a broken radio, broken anything,
right,
you got to figure out what's broken.
It's like the diagnosis step before you prescribe the treatment.
Yeah.
And
that's where couples actually get in the most trouble, is they can't figure out what's broken. All right, so let me tell you a little story because it just makes it a little bit clearer for us.
Awesome.
So Jill and let's call him Jim come in, and they're a cute couple. They're a good couple, good people. They come in, but they sit on opposite sides of the couch. And right away, that just tells you, holy moly, what's going on here? What's the story?
I think I saw them.
Yeah, exactly. So you ask them, what's going on? And Jill starts off. She says, Jim just never does anything I ask him to do. He doesn't take out the trash. He doesn't help around the house. He leaves his socks on the floor. Oh my gosh. She's just fried with all the shenanigans that she feels like he's just not engaged.
She knows what's broken.
In the relationship. Yeah, she knows.
She knows.
Yeah. So then I turn to Jim and I go, Jim. No, I don't really do that. I go, Jim.
And Jim fires you immediately.
Exactly. I go, Jim, what's going on? What's your side of it? How do you see things? And Jim goes, she's just never happy. She's never satisfied. No matter what I do, it's just not good enough. Come on. Really? You think I've never ever washed dishes in my life? Of course I have. Do you think I've never taken out the trash? Yes. It's just never her time. It's never her schedule.
It's never good enough for her.
It's never good enough.
He knows what's broken.
Yeah, he does. He does. So I turn to both of them in kind of my mischievous kind of look, and I go, Let me see if I understand the problem here. Okay, Jill, what you're telling me is that you think Jim's the problem. Is that right? And she goes, yeah.
And she knows she's right.
Yeah. And so I go, Jim, let me see if I understand the problem. You think Jill's the problem. Is that right? Yeah. She's the problem. She's the problem.
Yeah.
So then I turn to both of them and I say, you know what? That's the problem. The problem is they are in a right fight. That's where they're stuck. The problem is they can't communicate about anything because everything they communicate turns out to be good guys and bad guys. It turns out to be I'm right or you're wrong or you're wrong and I'm right. And it's just this battle of who's right and who's wrong. And that's going to go nowhere.
Right. You have described that perfectly.
Great.
I've been doing this for 2 decades.
Yes.
And I saw them.
Yes.
In my office. How often is it that people come in and they're like,
Well, my book is called You Can Be Right or You Can Be Married because there's only one fight. I've seen couples for 20, 30 years.
Yeah.
There's only one fight that ever comes in my office, and that's it. That's the fight. They fight about kids, they fight about money, they fight about sex, they fight about in-laws, they fight about all this stuff.
Right.
But it always is one fight. It's about who's right.
Who's right and who's wrong.
And who's wrong.
Instead of what's right or what's wrong.
There it is.
Wait, okay, so you're leading me right into this, okay? You started off by saying, okay, the first thing, if we're going to fix a broken relationship, we have to figure out what's wrong. We could end the video right here.
There we are. So,
because it's not about who's wrong, it's about what's wrong. If you just searched for this video and found it, or somebody shared it with you, you may be in the place that Jim and Jill were. Just be open to that. If that is a possibility in your mind, then something huge could change here as you shift your focus from who's wrong, and you know who's wrong,
yes,
to what's wrong.
So
walk us through that.
So let's walk through that.
Yeah.
So I have Jim and Jill do that exact thing. So I have them actually turn to each other because it's not valuable for them to talk to me because I'm not in their marriage.
You're
I'm
not
not
in
in their
this.
relationship.
Right.
That's their relationship. So I have them turn to each other and I say, Jill, here's what I want you to do. I want you to take Jim's hand. And I want you to tell Jim what's wrong. You're hurt. You're scared. You're frustrated. You're disappointed. You feel unloved. It doesn't matter. You are free to have any feeling you want. But I want you to tell him what's wrong, not who's wrong. Jim,
Right.
I want you to sit back and I want you to listen. So she turns to him. She starts telling him, I just feel like sometimes I'm working harder in this relationship than you are. And that makes me feel like I love you more than you love me. And so she starts to talk about what her real issue is she feels
About
this,
what's wrong.
yeah, she feels
Right.
this disconnect. And Jim, hearing that, he goes, oh my gosh, that's not my intention. That's not what I want.
Right.
I'm so sorry that you feel like that. And he begins to be able to connect with something because now he has something to connect to.
And now he's
Her
not
pain.
defensive too.
Yeah.
You'll notice if somebody feels like they're being attacked as being who's wrong, they're going to naturally get defensive. And if you notice some defensiveness in your spouse, wonder what that could mean.
Yeah. And then, of course, I flip it around and let Jim also talk to her, to talk to Jill and say, Jim, tell her what's going on.
What's wrong, not who's wrong.
I feel like I'm never good enough for you. My number one goal is to please you. And I feel like I never can. I feel like I never can please you because I just never get it right. And so after a while, I just feel like I want to quit. And so he bears his soul and starts sharing with her where he's at.
Yeah.
And she connects with that. Did I cure the marriage in one session? No. But did I have them walk out of there feeling more connected? Absolutely.
Well, you just put them in position to solve this because now we're focused on what's wrong.
Right.
Which we can come up with some technologies or some interventions or some
Yeah.
therapies to address what's wrong.
Right.
It's really changing that focus then from who's wrong to what's wrong.
Right.
And then whatever it is, this is the beautiful thing. And thank you, Brett, because I knew he would do this. It's queuing us up for success. It's putting us in position to solve anything. This little conversation that you just demonstrated to us doesn't solve anything, but it beautifully puts you in position to solve anything. Then we can get working on what's wrong.
Well, and can I disagree with the boss? I'm going to disagree with the boss.
Okay, I
just for a
guess you
second.
just did. Go for it.
Actually, it does solve something. What is the real issue?
Yeah.
Is we're not connected. And I
Right.
just got connected.
You got the connection.
I just
going.
got connected. That's the real issue. Are we going to disagree? Yes. Are we going to have differences? Yes. Are we going to not see things the same? Absolutely.
Sure.
But that's not the problem. That's what's important for couples to see. The
Yeah.
problem isn't that we don't see eye to eye at times. The problem is we lose our connection because we don't see eye to eye. I
Right.
just help them reconnect even though they have differences.
Right. Awesome. How do you fix a broken relationship?
You
Maybe
talk
we got
about
some
what's
tools.
wrong, not who's wrong.
Yeah. Thank you, Brett Williams. Wasn't that awesome? We got to get focused on what's wrong, not who's wrong. Great stuff.